Hello, it's Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess and Bridget's Grove with my March flip through video, including my daily prayer book and then the March guidebook, which is a bonus benefit for members of our Goddess Magic Patreon community. I really feel like this has helped us deepen into community practice this year, and I'm super glad that I started making these guidebooks for people. So anyway, the prayer books, just a reminder that printed prayer books are available for all 12 months of the year via lulu.com. I am still updating them with new word lists. So January through July have all been updated, and then August through December are still waiting on the new word lists. You can still use pretty much any prayer book for any month. You just have to print out the new prompt list that I provide you at 30daysofgoddess.com and glue it over an old prompt list, and it will work. But I am updating the covers and I'm updating the covers and the word lists for 2024. So that's where I've gotten so far. So anyway, March prayer book. I'm just going to flip through it if you have questions about something specific. I used to make these videos be a little longer, and then I realized they were kind of too long, and so I was putting them off, and I don't know that they're necessarily that interesting to people at that kind of length, and so I used to explain like all the components. And basically, if you spot something that you want more of an explanation for, then please ask me and I will tell you, but these are more of like a quick flip through instead of an analysis. I think there has something in that pocket, but yes, yay, a little note. In my Dream Seeds pocket that came from one of our Goddess Magic patrons. We do some ephemera swaps that Kim organizes for us, so that came from a swapper in our Goddess Magic community. Anyway, if you have specific questions about things that you see going by, you can feel free to ask me. Some of these pictures are printed using my little Kodak step printer. I was so excited about finishing the publication of my newest book, Replenish, this month, and so I did a Replenish retreat, and so that's why those pictures are represented in here. I was using, so every week for the Goddess Magic patrons, I create a new coloring journal card that is part of, it's an ongoing inspiration oracle, essentially, via those printable cards that I make. So each card has a journal question and an affirmation, and it has a quote and a picture, and then basically it's an ongoing inspiration oracle, and so you can use it in, you can print the editions and then use them to draw from all year long, even into next year. I'll probably keep doing those cards, and so you will see them show up, because what I do is I print them out on paper, colored paper usually, and then color them and add them to that week of the book. So when I do Monday community practice lives for the Goddess Magic community, and when I do those, we explore that question, those questions and that quote together, and it kind of shapes our weekly live experience together. And then these stickers all came from a swapper too. Then I keep the cardboard, or I print them on cardstock, and I keep the cardstock one as a flip through deck that I continue using. So I glue down a paper one into the book for the appropriate week, and then I keep the cardstock one as a deck. And so this, I'll show you, I think I have one in the guidebook that I'll show you when I get to that section. This page, I had to laugh. I'm doing another homeschool co-op. Oh my gosh, 16 years of, 20 years of homeschooling, but 16 years of participation in various co-ops, and 7 different co-ops in that time period of 16 years of going to 7 different co-ops. So I helped make cupcakes at this particular one in the cooking class, and so this kind of chaos represented on this page, which is very bright and colorful and happy page, but it's also got a lot of chaos represented in it, and that was because of the cooked cupcakes. I'm not sure if my video is really going black like it seems to be doing for me, but so I apologize if it's doing something weird. I have to keep tapping on the screen. I think the light or something is odd, so sorry about that. Another one of my inspiration oracle cards. I really love that evolving edition, because they kind of grow from each other, build on each other, and then create something that you can keep using really for years to come. When we revisit questions and journal questions that we've explored before, even prompt words that we've explored before, we inhabit our own lives right now. And so the way a quote or a poem or a question or a prompt lands with us may be very different from even month to month. And so I love creating something that can be used for a long time to come and explored in different ways and on different levels for time to come. So we're doing an Ariadne's Thread study group again this year. I'm doing it in person with a small group of friends, and then members of the Goddess Magic community at the ritual theory level get the replay or the retreat walkthroughs, and they get my notes and outlines so that they can use that work with their own in their own practices. So this is a card from Ariadne's Thread, Shekinah Mountain Waters Classic, a book on goddess spirituality, goddess magic. And so I colored that one. That was our circle, and that's the card I colored for our circle. And so another one of my cards, lots of those cards represented. I have been doing my pages this month a lot of times in the evening with my youngest son. We've been working on the pages together. And so a lot of mine are following kind of a similar format, which is my, brief evening format, so to speak. And these were from when the Replenish retreat was going on. So these were the cards we used for that retreat. And so that's why they're represented on those pages. So you'll notice kind of a thematic similarity in some of my pages this month. And that's because I was letting it be easy. That's one of the things I like to remind people, is that this practice is here to support you. It is not here to tell you what to do. And it's not here to feel like too much or a giant list of to-dos. And so if it feels too big or too heavy, cut it back, simplify it, let it be easy. Let it hold you and support you and nourish you and sustain you instead of feeling like a list of to-dos. So keeping my pages simple was what I needed this month in order to continue to have this practice feel liberating and nourishing. One of the things that I've said in the past is that discipline confines, but devotion liberates. And so when we step into devotional practice, when we commit to showing up for our own lives in this way, we do find liberation. And if we're not feeling liberated, it might mean we need to scale something back. The process of showing up for our own lives should feel transformative, exciting, sometimes scary, and liberating, not confining or restrictive. And so now we're getting to the end of this book. I have my Elen of the Ways card and my little nematona packet, which was, as I've explained before, left over from my keynote at GGG, and I have one for every month of the year saved. I found these really interesting orange feathers. I don't know what they're from. I found those when I was looking for mushrooms and added those to my little book pocket. Oh, I see my old tea bag on. Oh, one of my feathers escaped. And I see my little old tea bag on the ground there. I'm having my dandelion mint tea, and if you steep mint tea too long, it gets kind of yucky. So I took the tea bag out and put it on the ground, but you can see it in the background of the video, which is not very attractive. So anyway, I'm wanting to grab my feather, but that's okay. It's one of those things. And oops, dropping stuff too. Excuse me. I did grab the feather. See? Tried to get away from my book. And then we're going to go on to the March guidebook. Instead of doing separate videos and having to explain some things again, I'm just combining the flip throughs. And so this one, I like to put my snapshot deck cards in the pocket. Those cards, everybody gets a sampler pack of those on 30daysofgoddess.com for every month of the year. And then Goddess Magic patrons get the full set for the month for inspiration, encouragement, and additional deepening. As I said, I really feel like these guidebooks, these were sort of an unexpected creation, but some of my best work is the unexpected creation. Some of the most fulfilling pieces that I've created in my entire life have been things that came from a sudden, as I've said in a ritual video recently, a sudden goddess lightning strike of inspiration. That has been some of the most profound, long-lasting, and inspiring, like kind of some of the really the truest, deepest work of my life has come from those flashes of inspiration and seizing the moment, following the inspiration where it leads. And then before I know it, I've created a 1,200-day practice with countless resources and a lot of beauty and magic to add to other people's lives when I didn't even know it was going to exist. And so those guidebooks have the same quality. Somebody had asked me to provide a copy of one of the poems that I read aloud during one of our practice videos. And I have a bunch of notes usually for each video, and I just turn those notes into a book. And then I realized, wait a second, like I could do this every time. So maybe that's a little excessive to suddenly turn, and I've joked with Mark that I don't really want to write a new book every month of the year. So in recent months, I've been combining them. So 2 months in one guidebook. This is the miniature version of the Elen prayer book, and it's tucked into a little pocket, because basically publishing a new book every month of the year is a lot to expect of oneself, and it's a little overwhelming for others. So I'm finding that I did a combined guidebook for April and May, and I did a combined one for June and July as well. And I may just do that to finish out the year. This particular version of the guidebook, I do have a daily, so it can combine as a daily practice and the guidebook. I usually provide patrons with 2 file options. So if they don't want to print the little daily practice pages, they can just print the text pages instead. Basically, it's a choose what works for you and leave the rest kind of system. And really, that is true of just about everything that I create. A lot of the things that I create are intended to be, this is from Amanda Fall, the Phoenix Soul. A lot of the things that I create are meant to be mixed and matched and worked together and enjoyed and explored together. But also you can just choose one component. You can print out what works for you and leave the rest behind. There's no obligation and no must do. It's like a buffet of possibilities from which to choose what is most nourishing and inspiring to you. And then very last for March, I have my miniature Elen prayer book here. And I didn't do a lot in this one separately because I got it printed on colored paper. It's a black and white file, but I got it printed on colored paper to make it a little jazzier. And then I found I didn't really feel like I needed to do a bunch of coloring. I may go back. Usually I like to do something better in the center. I also got lazy this time and only stapled it. Usually I sew them. But you can staple it too. There's no shame in a staple game. And then, so I might go back and color that centerpiece and add something. I like to have a center image or a center prayer or something, and I didn't do that in this one. So this is the mini devotional for Elen of the Ways that was included with March's Goddess Guidance Club. The upcoming Goddess Guidance Club for May is going to be free for everyone. I do 4 free Goddess Guidance Clubs a year, and then 8 of them are included with, 12 of them are included with your membership at the Goddess Magic community on Patreon. That's patreon.com/goddessmagic. But then 4 are open to everybody so that everybody can participate. So in May, our goddess that we are honoring is Oshun, and her Goddess Guidance Club packet will be free for everybody. So her devotional book and her little card and that kind of stuff. So make sure to check that out. I will link below to how you can join to get that free resource. So anyway, those are my resources for March, my flip throughs of my various books of magic, these portable tiny temples, these portable sacred spaces that can travel with us wherever we go. And I have April ready in my beautiful journal cover from Lacey Hoyt of Living Made with Love on Etsy. I'll link to that as well. Just love this journal cover. And so I've already, my March book lived in here, and then I've already transferred my April book over, and it is in that cover now. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this provided you with some encouragement, inspiration, and ideas. So enjoy the month to come and keep living your magic. Bye-bye.